So, I'm struggling with a certain amount of guilt right now. Guilt? Yeah. So, this thing that's going right now, this COVID emergency and the quarantine, I see posts from my friends on Facebook lamenting how much they miss their kids and their classrooms, how they cried and wept when the schools were finally closed. There was a sense of disbelief when we initially went home. I was one of the few people who said, I didn't think we'd be back. Everyone looked at me like I was crazy. But I was looking at England, my daughter in Australia, my brother in France, what was happening around the world, and I had a slightly different perspective at the time, I guess. So I said goodbye to my classroom, and I said a mental goodbye to my kids. And when the news came, I was filled with guilt. So people are dying. It's dreadful, right? I have 4 friends who've been really, really sick with COVID. Probably more. I've seen some friends' husbands who I don't know. I know my friends, and I'm suffering for them. I know that people have lost businesses, lost money, lost jobs. It's horrible. I know there are kids who need to be in school. They don't get food. They have no consistency. They have no security and structure at home, and they need school. I know all this. And that's why I feel guilty. Because this time at home, it's been wondrous for me. First of all, in a physical, mental sense, I was able to come off my prescription stomach medicine. We don't need to go into that. It turns out the initial diagnosis of it just being stress was probably true. The pain's gone. The sleepless nights went. So they've come back recently. I think that's because I've been thinking about next year already. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to teach. I do. And I've loved my time with my kids each day. I've seen kids thrive, achieve stuff they never knew they could achieve because they can be independent and they can do great things. I've also had phone calls with kids who have forgotten that school is still a thing, but that's another story. I'm looking forward to going back next year. I mean, I have plans of how I'm going to change things. This has given me a vision of how I can do more self-pacing within the classroom, how I can do online help sessions in the evening, so much more I can do that I wouldn't have been pushed to do if this experience hadn't happened. And there are some kids I miss. Mostly those kids, though, I talk to twice a day, one-on-one, much more so than I ever did during the school day. I got a puppy. I've been able to take 3 walks a day. My husband's home and we've reconnected. We can't do date night anymore, but we don't need to. We order in and we see each other. He's not in Miami every other week. So I feel guilty. I feel guilty for enjoying what this quarantine time has brought to me. I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think it makes me a bad person. I think it makes me honest to address this. So there's a lot of guilt. But there's also a lot of happiness at the same time. So now I need to find a way to balance that. Find a way to keep doing my part, keep looking after myself, and keep being aware that this is not a good time for a lot of people. And remember, I really do love my kids.